Victor was already a grown man when his story truly began. He was not a poor child who dreamed of riches. He was not a young boy chasing survival. He was an adult who chose greed. Stay tuned because you are about to watch an interesting story. Hello, dear, welcome to Story by Pete. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. May God bless you as you do so. Relax while we dive into the story. At 35, Victor knew right from wrong. He knew what honesty meant. He understood pain, but he ignored all of it. Life had not broken Victor. His choices did. He worked in small offices at first, watching people struggle. He noticed how desperate people were for hope, how easily they trusted good words and promises. That was when the idea entered his heart, not to help them, but to use them. The first scam did not feel easy. His hands shook as he typed the message. He told himself it was only one person. He promised himself he would stop. But when the money entered his account, something changed. He felt power. That feeling was stronger than guilt. With time, lying became normal. His voice grew confident. His smile looked honest. But inside, something was dying. Victor began to build a life that looked perfect from the outside. Big house, luxury cars, security guards, respect from strangers. But no one knew him. No one loved him. At night, when the noise of the city faded, Victor felt the truth. He was rich but lonely, successful but empty, alive but already lost. He would stand by his window, staring at the city lights below. Thousands of people living real lives, struggling honestly, loving, hoping, believing. Victor turned away, because deep down he knew his wealth was built on pain, and that pain would one day come back for him. Victor liked checking his phone early in the morning, before brushing his teeth, before saying good morning to anyone. He opened his bank app. Every alert made his heart beat faster. Money received. That was his happiness. But each alert carried a hidden story. There was a teacher who trusted Victor because he spoke calmly and wisely. The teacher used his savings, money meant for retirement. When the scam collapsed, the man sat alone in his classroom after school, staring at the chalkboard, wondering how to start again. There was a pregnant woman who invested hospital money. Victor promised fast returns. She believed him because she wanted safety for her unborn child. When the money vanished, fear replaced joy. She cried at night, holding her stomach, praying nothing bad would happen. There was an old man who could barely read. Victor's agents helped him sign papers he did not understand. The man smiled, thinking help had finally come. Weeks later, he slept hungry. Victor saw all the messages, long paragraphs, voice notes full of tears, missed calls that never stopped. Some people begged, some threatened, some simply asked for explanation. Victor ignored them all. At first, he told himself, "I will answer later." Later never came. Sometimes he felt something strange, a small pain in his chest, a question in his mind. What if this was my mother? What if this was me? He pushed the thought away. He reminded himself of his house, his cars, his power. Money made him feel bigger than people's pain. One night, Victor accidentally opened a message he had not meant to read. It was from a father. "My children ask me every day when school will reopen for them. I don't know what to say. Please, even half of the money will help." Victor stared at the screen for a long time. His fingers shook. Then another alert came in, more money. He closed the message. He chose silence. From that day, Victor stopped seeing people as humans. They became opportunities, targets, means to an end. And with every life he broke, his heart grew quieter, colder, and darker. Even as his wealth grew louder, he was becoming rich in money and poor in soul. Night was Victor's enemy. During the day, money protected him. Phones rang. People bowed. Security followed him. He felt important. But at night, everything disappeared. His house was big but empty. No laughter. No warm voices. No one asking how his day went. Only cold lights and long hallways. Victor often sat alone on his bed, fully dressed, staring at the wall. Sleep did not come easily. When he closed his eyes, his mind became loud. He heard voices, not real voices, but memories, crying voices, begging voices. Please help me. You promised us. My children are hungry. He turned on the television to drown the sound. Then music. Then alcohol. Nothing worked. Sometimes he woke up suddenly, breathing fast, his shirt soaked with sweat. His heart raced like he was running from something he could not see. He walked to the window and looked down at the city. So many lights. So many lives. He wondered how many of those lights belonged to people he had hurt. How many families were sitting in darkness because of him? Victor poured himself a drink. He told himself lies again. I worked hard for this. They were careless. This is how the world works. But deep down he knew the truth. Money could buy silence, but not peace. It could buy comfort, but not rest. It could buy power, but not sleep. Some nights, Victor imagined another life. A simple one. A small house. An honest job. A family waiting for him at night. The thought scared him, because it reminded him of what he had chosen to become. As the night grew quiet, Victor lay in his wide bed, eyes open, staring at the ceiling, surrounded by luxury, drowning in loneliness. And for the first time, he felt something he could not buy away: fear. It happened on a hot afternoon. Victor was in his office, sitting behind a wide desk made of glass. Cold air filled the room. Everything smelled of money and power. Then the door opened. A small old woman walked in. Her back was bent. Her steps were slow. Her clothes were faded and worn. She held a small nylon bag tightly to her chest, as if it was the only thing she had left. Victor looked at her and frowned. He did not like unplanned visitors. The woman stood before him, shaking. She tried to speak, but her voice broke. Tears rolled down her face before words came out. My son, please, she said softly. That money was all I had. Victor did not answer. Slowly, the woman dropped to her knees. The sound of her knees hitting the floor echoed in the room. I beg you, she cried. My husband is dead. I used that money to take care of my grandchildren. They have stopped going to school. Her hands trembled as she lifted them toward him. Her tears fell on the shining floor. For a moment, time stopped. Victor felt something move inside his chest. A memory flashed. His own mother, tired, worried, praying at night. But the feeling scared him. He stood up suddenly. Security, he shouted. The guards rushed in. The woman clung to his leg. Please, she cried. Even half of it. I will bless you. Victor kicked her hand away. Get her out, he said, his voice cold. The guards lifted the woman. Her slippers fell off. Her bag dropped. As they dragged her away, she looked back at Victor. Her eyes were not angry. They were broken. Before the door closed, she spoke one last time. Greed has no mercy, she said quietly. It will eat you alive. The door shut. Silence filled the room again. Victor sat back down. His hands shook slightly. He clenched them into fists. He told himself he was strong. He told himself he did the right thing. But that night, when darkness came, he could still see the woman kneeling and hear her voice calling him my son. After the woman was thrown out, Victor changed. Something inside him closed. At first, her face followed him everywhere. In meetings, in mirrors, in his sleep. But Victor did not want to feel pain. Pain made him weak, and weakness scared him. So he did what he knew best. He became harder. He ordered his team to block all messages from victims. No calls, no emails, no visits. He did not want to hear cries anymore. Business is business, he said. If they are foolish, that is their problem. His scams became bigger, faster, more dangerous. He no longer felt his hands shake when he lied. His voice stayed calm. His eyes stayed cold. Money kept coming in, but joy never came with it. Victor bought more things. Another house, another car, another watch. He thought maybe happiness was hiding in the next purchase. It wasn't. At night, he drank more. He laughed louder around people. But inside, his chest felt heavy. Sometimes he stood in front of his mirror and did not recognize himself. His smile looked fake. His eyes looked tired. Still, he pushed forward. If I stop now, he told himself, everything I have done will be for nothing. So he continued. He silenced guilt with wealth. He buried conscience under pride. He fed greed until it became his master. And without knowing it, Victor crossed a line. The kind of line that once crossed cannot be uncrossed. Fear did not come loudly. It came in small signs. One morning, Victor tried to move money from his main account. The screen froze. A red message appeared. Transaction failed. He tried again. Same result. Victor frowned. This had never happened before. Minutes later, his phone rang. One of his partners sounded nervous. "We need to talk," the man said. His voice shook. Victor felt a strange, cold feeling move through his body. By noon, more bad news came. A bank manager avoided his calls. Another partner had traveled suddenly. Someone from his legal team stopped answering. Victor sat in his office, staring at his phone. The room felt smaller than usual. The air felt heavy. For the first time in years, Victor felt helpless. That evening, he drove home slowly. Every siren made his heart jump. Every police car felt closer than it should be. At home, he poured a drink but could not swallow. His hands shook. Messages from victims began to appear again. Not begging this time. Angry. United. "We have proof. We are going to the authorities. You can't hide forever." Victor's chest tightened. He remembered the old woman's words. Greed has no mercy. That night, sleep refused to come. He lay on his bed, eyes wide open, listening to his own heartbeat. Loud, fast, unforgiving. For the first time, Victor understood something he had ignored for years. Power could disappear. Money could fail. And fear. Fear did not care how rich you were. It had finally found him. Victor used to believe people respected him. He now saw the truth. They respected his money. The first to disappear were his friends. The ones who drank with him. The ones who laughed at his jokes. When trouble came, their numbers stopped working. Meetings were canceled. Invitations stopped coming. Silence replaced praise. Victor called his closest partner. No answer. He called again. Still nothing. He sat on his couch, phone in hand, waiting. No one called back. Even his workers changed. They avoided eye contact. They whispered when he walked past. Some resigned without explanation. For the first time, Victor walked into his own office and felt like a stranger. At home, the loneliness became heavier. The big rooms mocked him. The walls reflected his voice back to him. He remembered how he ignored messages, how he blocked calls, how he turned away from people in pain. Now, the same thing was happening to him. Victor tried to cry. Tears did not come easily. His heart had been hard for too long. One night, he called his mother. She answered softly. "My son," she said, "I've been praying for you." Victor wanted to speak. Words failed him. Shame filled his throat. He ended the call quickly. He sat alone in the dark, finally understanding what abandonment felt like. No guards could protect him from it. No money could fix it. Victor had reached the top alone, and now he was falling alone, just like the people he once destroyed. Just say the word. The courtroom was full. Victor stood at the back, dressed simply for the first time in years. No expensive suit, no confident walk, just a man waiting for judgment. When he sat down, the room felt alive with pain. One by one, people stood to speak. A man with tired eyes walked forward. "My children stopped school," he said. "My wife left me because I failed." His voice broke. I trusted him. A woman followed. She held papers in shaking hands. "I sold my shop," she cried. I believed his words. She wiped her tears with her sleeve. My life ended that day. Then the old woman walked in. The same woman who had knelt in Victor's office. She did not kneel now. She stood straight, though her body was weak. "My grandchildren sleep hungry," she said softly. I begged him. He did not look at me. Her words were quiet, but they cut deeper than shouting. Victor lowered his head. For the first time, he saw their faces clearly. Not numbers, not messages. People. people he had broken. Tears filled his eyes, but he did not wipe them away. He did not deserve comfort. The judge spoke firmly. Greed blinded you, he said. You destroyed lives for pleasure. The words echoed in Victor's chest. As the sentence was read, Victor felt something leave him. Not fear, not anger, hope. When they led him away, he did not fight. He did not speak. He only thought of one thing. This pain, this shame, this silence was the price he had avoided paying for years. And now it had come in full. Prison stripped Victor of everything. No soft bed, no clean silence, no doors he could open freely. The first night, he lay on a hard mattress that smelled of sweat and age. The light above him stayed on. Sleep did not come. Around him, men whispered. Some laughed. Some cried. All were broken in different ways. Victor stared at the ceiling. This place did not care who he used to be. In the morning, he lined up for food. A small plate. Cold food. No choice. He remembered the restaurants he once owned. The meals he wasted. The people who begged him for help. Now he ate quietly, head down. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Victor had time now. Too much time. He thought about the people he hurt. The lives he ruined. The woman who knelt. The children who left school. At night, when the prison grew quiet, Victor cried softly. He cried into his pillow so no one would hear. Not because he was poor. Not because he was locked up. But because he understood he could never return what he had taken. Sometimes he dreamed of money. Then he woke up and laughed bitterly. Money had abandoned him, just like he abandoned others. One evening, Victor sat alone in the yard, watching the sky change color. For the first time in his life, he felt small. And for the first time, he wished he had chosen differently. Years later, the prison gate opened. Victor walked out quietly. No crowd, no cameras, no celebration. He carried a small bag. Everything he owned fit inside it. The world had moved on without him. Buildings looked taller. People walked faster. No one recognized him anymore. Victor tried to start again. He looked for work. People heard his name and turned away. Doors closed gently but firmly. Some nights, he slept in small rooms. Other nights, he stayed with people who did not ask questions. He learned to live with little. But the hardest part was not poverty. It was memory. Every face from the courtroom followed him. Every cry replayed in his mind. Some nights, he woke up calling for forgiveness that never came. Victor tried to help where he could. Small kindness, small honesty. But he knew it would never balance the scale. One afternoon, he passed a school. Children laughed. The sound pierced his chest. He remembered the children who left school because of him. Victor stopped walking. He bowed his head. For the first time, he prayed, not for money, not for comfort, but for mercy. He understood now. Wealth built on lies burns the soul. Power gained through pain always returns with pain. Greed gives quickly, but collects slowly and completely. Victor lived the rest of his life quietly, not admired, not feared, just remembered as a lesson that said, if money costs your humanity, it costs too much.